Game 2, currently up 1-0. It is our red Zerg player in the upper right-hand corner, Ragnarok. And his opponent in the lower left in the blue, it's Creator. This should be a very good match. I'm not surprised that last game was close. Wish we could have seen it. I always hate when there's good games being missed, you know? Feels like these good games of StarCraft need to be viewed. They need to be shown to the people, but at least we can hop into a game 2 here. These guys are very closely matched, very similarly ranked. So I use just a Ligulac to seed this tournament, and these guys are just 1 seed away from each other, very close in rank. Hard to decide who I would favor here. It's cool that Creator is streaming. It's always fun to see the players stream, especially like tournament games. Feels like you get a little bit extra something than a ladder game. But I imagine we'll have a pretty nice, solid macro start here. I could see Ragnarok putting on a little bit of pressure, but not for a little while. Not for the next couple of minutes. Creator's usually a very solid, like a solid wall kind of player. Some players struggle having like a good wall, defending like early Ling pushes and stuff well. I feel like Creator's not one of those people though. He strikes me as a pretty solid defensive player and usually plays very macro, straight up kind of game. He is, funnily enough, not the most creative of players, despite his name. He usually just plays what works, what's popular. Ragnarok, I feel like, is a little bit more out there. Not just playing the most solid, the most standard kind of builds. Might throw in something cheeky here and there. I'm excited to see Ragnarok playing too. It's a very tough round of 8 match for him, but if he's able to make it deep in this tournament, he's going to be very close to getting that 8th place spot. So Beyond early on did quite well in the KSL. He had a few second places to Maru. He even beat Maru in one of them. So with a few second places, a few first places, he made his way up to 49 points, which is actually 8th place for the KSL standings right now. And the top 8 automatically get an invite to the Summer Slam. But Ragnarok is actually pretty close behind on 36 right now, 36 points. A second place would bring Ragnarok within 1, and Beyond hasn't played in weeks. So unless Beyond shows up in the next couple of weeks, I feel like Ragnarok could very, very reasonably make it into that top 8. If Beyond doesn't show up, I feel like Ragnarok's pretty much guaranteed. Like, round of 4 is pretty doable. And if he gets 2 of those and then literally anything else, there's 3 weeks left. So if he gets 2 round of 4s and anything else, he'll be in that top 8. This is raising a question which I hadn't thought about, which is how to decide who gets the seed if they tie in points, which is very possible. I kind of hope doesn't happen because I don't want to have to figure out a solution. I guess we could just do like a best of 1 match or something. Just play for it. But I was happy to see Ragnarok here. I realized I didn't have his Discord info because I wanted to message him earlier and make sure he signed up. Him and DRG, actually. I was excited both of them signed up. I was a little sad not to see Nightmare, though. Nightmare is in a very similar position. And seeing the 3 of them, like, compete for points right at the end of this would be really sick. I mean, SummerSlam is going to be a $5,000 tournament. And the difference between having to play in the qualifier where the top 4 get through and just being in the tournament. You're just guaranteed extra money for being in that top 8 of the KSL points. Now this is cute. Creator's going for an Archon drop here. There's charge behind this, but this is like a straightforward Archon drop build out of Creator. And it's getting some damage. Ooh, needs to be careful of those queens, though. Spore also doing a little damage to the Spore Prism, chipping off most of the shields, but a queen went down, 4 drones went down. I think a handful of lings probably died to those Archons as well. Oh, and they will continue to fall. Some Zealots even warping in here. Again, they don't have charge yet, but you know, they can help fight against the lings, I guess. Once the roaches are out, though, it does become a little bit more difficult for these Archons to take fights like that. It's more about running away from the roaches, which are a lot slower. Queen caught all on her own. Wants to go hang out by this Spore Crawler just in case the Warp Prism decides to go in. But a couple more drones dying here. It's so funny. I haven't seen an Archon drop in forever. And this is the kind of thing I expect from Creator. Creator is like, he'll bust out the old school builds. Archon drop was the go-to opening in this matchup in like, what, 2018? Because I feel like 2019 it became Glaive, so it's got to be like 2017, 2018. Archon drop against Zerg was just, it was just what you did. But it's funny to see Ragnarok like taking more damage here than I would normally expect, even losing a Roach. So far, Creator's only lost a probe, one single probe, and look at this. So much going down for the Zerg. Ragnarok losing a lot. But that being said, Ragnarok still has a pretty solid economy and has quite a bit of army supply out, which is going to be very crucial in defending this follow-up push. A couple force fields tried to trap that Roach, don't quite get it. More units coming out here for Ragnarok. Ragnarok might go for a counterattack if Creator decides to pull back, because Ragnarok's worker count is not great. Some more drones coming out now. The Archons come back in. The beautiful thing is their shields do regenerate over time. Oh man, and now these drones, freshly made drones getting taken down, bringing the total up to 13 drone kills. And we see that reflected in the worker count, 72 to 65. Creator is mining quite a bit better than Ragnarok with a superior army composition. I mean, Roach, Ling, Bane, Ravager. It's okay, it's not great, and I don't think there's many Lings left. There's actually no Banelings, so it is just Roach, Ling, Roach, Ravager, Ling. Ling, Roach, Ravager? I don't know what order to say that in. Yeah, this kind of reminds me of a match that SOS, I'm pretty sure it was SOS played, where he did an Archon drop like back in the day. And he tried to build shield batteries outside of his opponent's base for the Archon drop, which I always thought was such a clutch idea. It ended up not really panning out. I think SOS was struggling with some of the micro. It was a double Archon drop, so there was a prism with 2 Archons in it on either side of the Zerg's base. And he was trying to like put down shield batteries, and it just wasn't quite working, but I feel like it was a really cool idea. Creator's going for an attack. I actually don't like this at all. I really don't like this, because Ragnarok has so much tier 1 tech. The Banelings are out now. There's a lot of Roaches, a lot of Ravagers, and I feel like Ragnarok's got enough to defend. Sending some Roaches up to help deal with this, but that 4th base is in trouble. 6 drones already going down. This Creator's army on this side, can it fight competitively with Ragnarok's? Ragnarok is on a huge army because that worker count deficit. It looks like Ragnarok is going to push that away. Loses the 4th base, though. Ragnarok's pretty much just all in here. There's not a lot of money. And now Creator just needs to hold. More Immortals coming out. More Archons. God, the Immortal count up to 11. 11 Immortals. With 12 and 13 on the way right now. That should actually be illegal. That's too many Immortals. Not a lot of stacked defense of these bases. I did kind of expect to see some more shield batteries, maybe even some cannons down at these bases. Storm is on the way, but it's not here quite yet. Problem for Ragnarok, he's only on +1 melee, no other upgrades. Now he's trying to attack in again to this superior army composition. The Baneling's gonna try to smash through on the Archons and Immortals, but that's like the thing they're worst against. Oh my god, but the Roaches following it up. All these Immortals have had their shields popped, and they're getting targeted down. The number of Immortals is dwindling. It's just these 3, and the Roaches are gonna take them down. More Lings spilling in behind this for Ragnarok. Well, the Ravagers are fighting just against these Zealots on their own, but they are going to win that fight. The Oracle trying to do damage from the high ground here. But a 40 supply lead for Ragnarok right now. Looks like some drones went down in the meantime. Ragnarok only on 43 drones. He needs to win this game right here. Creator's trying to stop it from happening. The High Templar morphing into Archons, but they're not fighting just yet. They're going to get biled down. One of them goes down before they even pop. The other one, now it feels like it's so on its own. Gets picked up in the prison. The Oracle is out of juice. There's more units on the way for Creator, but Ragnarok has more coming across too, and it's 82 army supply to 26. I can't believe Creator is losing this game. He was so far ahead, but Ragnarok just had so much army. The Banelings did enough splash damage to let the Lings, the Roaches, and Ravagers clean the rest of this up. And the Immortal Micro, it's so good for Creator, but is it good enough? More Roaches are coming across. He's holding on. I mean, Creator's on full 3 base right now. Ragnarok's economy is actually just garbage. And there's nothing that shoots up, so this Prism is staying alive. The Immortals, they're doing their darndest. They're just trying to keep this base alive as long as possible. This Archon, again, not quite gonna morph. Another Immortal shows up. The 2 on the top side, the 1 on the bottom. They're chewing up these Roaches. Is it enough for Creator? Has he held? Oh, the Lings, though. And there's no Archons here anymore. These Immortals just don't do as well against the Lings, even with the fancy pickup micro. But I don't know. I don't know, dude. Creator's doing it. The 2 Immortals in the Warp Prism are making it happen. Ragnarok's droned a little bit behind this. He's made at least a few. Creator's down to 46. The work ends up being pretty much dead even. And Ragnarok, I can't believe it, didn't quite end up breaking Creator there. Creator somehow holds on. Like, what an insane hold here out of Creator. Honestly, this game feels kind of weirdly even now. Creator is up 1 upgrade, but it's like similar worker count, similar army supply. I guess a big problem for Ragnarok is his tech is pretty bad. He's only on the lair. He doesn't really have any follow-up to this. It's just more Roaches, more Lings coming out. But it's not like Creator's got carriers on the way or anything. It's just more Immortals. God, Immortals are good, dude, but I don't know. Maybe Ragnarok needs to go for more Banelings. I was just gonna say I'd love to see Aspire to do something about this Prism. Like 2 Corruptors and this would have to stop immediately. Ragnarok gonna take a 5th with this. Both players just trying to replenish workers. Ragnarok's been a little slow on droning, though. I feel like he was worried about a counterattack, and Creator decided to just macro instead. And I feel like macroing there was the right call. Spore Crawler moving over to Burrow. The Prism's going to get out of there before that even happens. 4 more drones going down. I mean, any damage like that is so good for Creator. Overseer getting gunned down here. Oh, and Creator's got that Storm out now, too. Phoenix is being made. Is it just the 1 Phoenix? I don't think Aspire has been spotted here. But those Phoenixes are going to be very useful as 14 Mutalisks start up, and I think Creator maybe is just reading Ragnarok. Hey, you seem to be just kind of chilling right now, and I don't like that. I think it was just the 1 Phoenix, though, which is now on its own back here. And with all these Immortals out, there are a few Archons, but it's just 4, a 5th one being morphed right now. I feel like these Mutas are going to be so powerful. 14 out, 7 more on the way already. Oh my god. Ragnarok spending every dime he has on these Mutas. And this is just going to be too many Mutas. Ooh, I don't know. Creator might have spotted them. He does have some cannons up. He warps in 1 Stalker in the main. I think he's vastly underestimating the amount of mutas that are coming in here. Phoenix is being produced, but these Stalkers are not going to be able to do anything. The Archons are still going to be very powerful, especially as these mutas stack up. Oh my god, a big Archon hit there, and Ragnarok, I feel like he's making a bit of a mistake. Flying over these Archons, he needs to be so careful as Storm tries to catch them as well. Phoenixes, though, flying a little too far forward. One of them gets taken down. The mutas are very badly hurt, actually. And already, what is this? 9 of those mutas have died. Ragnarok has 11 more on the way, but he needs to be so careful against the Storms. 2 more mutas fall. Already up to 14 dead mutas. And I really like this muta switch, but I feel like Creator was ready defensively for it. And Creator already has a fleet beacon on the way. I guess there was a second Stargate put down at some point, so it's double Phoenix production here. And the mutas are not finding a way in. Creator defending this beautifully so far. I was really worried for Creator. I feel like Ragnarok has missed a couple of control moves here. Going to get on top of these High Templar, but eats 2 of the Storms. The Archon going to get a couple of hits on the retreat as well. Now the Phoenixes are going to be able to pick off these low hit point mutas. That being said, a few Phoenixes getting picked off as well. 24 mutas have already died. Ragnarok is coming in here with the ground army as well, but the ground army is mostly Zerglings with a few Roaches and a few Ravagers. Only 9 mutas out. Hydra's on the way now. But do you really want to get into Lurkers when your opponent has 10 Immortals? And pretty sure it was double Robo. Also Phoenixes. I feel like this is not an interaction we see very often. But if you can get those Phoenixes in there and start lifting up Lurkers, they become so much less powerful. And the Muta's going to sacrifice himself here. They get 8 more worker kills. But that will be it for the Mutas. Storm sends these Zerglings packing. And Creator's like, I think all you have are Lings, actually. I feel like you don't have much here. Creator might just go for a push soon. Both players at around the same supply. The Lings are going to go for the counterattack. Can they get something done in here? It looks like this 4th base is pretty exposed. There is a shield battery, though. Could there be an overcharge? Creator. Oh, it's a little too slow for that. I think the Lings are going to tear that 4th base apart. But Creator, I think, is about to tear Ragnarok apart. The Lurker Den wasn't done yet, and GG gets called as Ragnarok cannot hold that push. And Creator will tie the series up 1-1. Hot damn, what a game between those two. That was wild. It's crazy when you see one player go just all in. The other player holds it well enough to stay in the game, but not well enough to just be flat out ahead. Like, I don't think Creator was behind. Maybe a little bit ahead after that all in from Ragnarok, but it was very close still. And I think Creator really only got ahead when the Muta switch was read beautifully. Like, Creator was pretty ready for that. Cannons were already going down in the bases. There was only 1 Phoenix out, but it was enough to hold on. You want to do a prediction? I'll do a prediction for the last game. Get your predictions in. And we'll hop in to game 2 here. I have to do a little swippy swap on this name. Fortunately, Ragnarok was also the last person that I cast that required me to change the name on the screen. So, spawning in the lower right-hand corner of Gressfawn, it's Ragnarok. And spawning in the upper left-hand corner, it is, of course, Creator. Absolutely wild game. The amount of Immortals Creator made. That feels like such a Creator thing to do. Creator's like, Immortals and Archons are good units. I guess I'll just make like 15 of them. Okay. That's a lot. That's a lot of them. Oh, sorry, I forgot to change the score. It is currently 1-1. We're in game 3. And also, it's so old school. Creator going for the Archon drop into like an Immortal Archon push. But Ragnarok, I don't know. It felt like a weird game from Ragnarok. I feel like he wasn't really sure what to do. Ended up just behind in drones and was like, okay, I'm just going to tier 1 it the whole way. Tons of Banelings. Ling Bane, Roach Ravager. You know, like all hatch tech, really. And just trying to go for overwhelming numbers, but the drone count was so low the whole game, it took a while for Ragnarok to get there. It so nearly worked. Creator held on by the skin of his teeth, which is a phrase I'm still not quite sure what it means. Maybe I'm the weird one here. I don't think I have skin on my teeth. Do you guys have skin on your teeth? I guess maybe if you count gums, but that doesn't feel like skin. Does it? I feel like it's not. I don't know. We went off on a slight tangent there, but it was a hell of a game. A hell of a game. Creator playing a solid style. It's fun. It's fun to see something different than just like Blink Stalkers, which I feel like is such a common sight in this matchup. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Creator go for that this game. Something maybe a little bit different, but I think Ragnarok's army composition would do a lot better against that. So I don't know. Maybe Creator sticks with a beefier composition, and then Ragnarok's got to figure out what to do against that. That's true, you do get plaque on your teeth. Maybe it's like he held on by the plaque of his teeth. Well, I don't... English is a weird language. So you can have plaque on your teeth, or I could have a plaque on my wall that, like, celebrates an achievement, you know? Why are those the same word? Some words, I get it, you know what I mean? Sometimes the word overlap kind of makes sense. Plaque is a weird one, though. Where does that come from? Gotta learn the etymology of the word here. Zergling's trying to get a little bit of damage in. I feel like they could have gone for that Nexus, but I think it's smart that he didn't. Gets the probe at the very least, then sneaks on out of there. Another Oracle opener for Creator. So far, just into a gateway, no follow-up tech. We're waiting to see what it ends up being. Ragnarok draws the Roach Warren, but it's a very averagely timed Roach Warren. Doesn't seem like much aggression coming out of either player. In fact, even the Oracles so far have just stayed at home. Just kind of chilling out here. Not trying to get any damage done. As I say that, though, a few Adepts. Sneak a drone or two, but get pushed away by Ragnarok so far. There's the Robo for Creator. Are we going to see another 13 Immortal army here? What's funny is he lost like almost all of those Immortals too. Just the 2 that were in the Prism lived from that first attack. But started remaking them and got back up to like 10 or 11. This is a lot of Adepts. Like, sometimes I see a poke of the Adepts, but it's usually 5, not 8 at the start. But with no Glaives, they're not nearly as scary. I don't know. Ragnarok probably doesn't realize they're not Glaives, though. And so might overcommit to this defense. That might even be what Creator's looking for. Overcommitting to that defense. There's a Prism +1 and the Twilight Council on the way. Creator's just gonna pull back. This feels like a build I haven't seen before. I feel like Creator is not doing a build that I've experienced in this matchup. Ragnarok's going to go for a Spire. He's like, you know what's really good against Protoss? These Mutas. Unless you open Phoenixes. Like a double Stargate Phoenix opener counters it. That's about it. Mutas can be very strong against Protoss, especially if you can really start stacking up the damage and snowballing. Killing the first few Stalkers that are warped in. That's what I was really worried about last game for Creator, is like Archons just don't usually defend against Mutas that well. I think Ragnarok did make a couple of miscontrols there. Flew over a few Archons, ate a couple of Storms. I think that was all very unnecessary. And that flock of Mutas got chipped down very quickly. Part of that's a good response by Creator, and part of that I feel like is a little sloppiness on Ragnarok's side that I wouldn't usually expect to see from him. So this time, as the Mutas are starting to come out, hoping we can see them maybe navigate their way a little bit better around some of those dangerous units. No Archons out on the field yet, though. The Twilight Council is currently working on charge. In fact, the anti-air is pretty abysmal here. There's one Stalker and 2 sentries for Creator. The cannons are more substantial, but there's still only 2 of them. One at the 4th, one at the 3rd. Oh, and Ragnarok just going to dive on top of this. The shield battery helping a lot, but it's going to get biled down. Oh, and Creator just wasn't ready for this attack. I was thinking about Mutas. Creator was thinking about macroing, and the Lings are just going to kill everything here. 2 Immortals being made, but this 4th base is done. It is toast. And honestly, the 3rd base, I'm getting a little bit worried about too. I don't know if Ragnarok needs to go for the kill right now. He is going to go for it, though. More Lings and Roaches on the way. Ragnarok dives forward. The Super Shield Battery turns on, but it gets popped. The Archon gets popped. These 3 Oracles doing their damnedest to get some kills. I don't know if it's going to be enough. The Immortal's getting picked up in the Prism again. This was Creator's saving grace last game. Can he do it again? The answer is yes. Jesus, you know, it's been a while since I've seen this. I forgot how good 2 Immortals in a Warp Prism are. I think that's what's happened here, is we don't see this all that often. Now it's Blink Stalkers and Glade the Depths and Void Rays. I forgot. Guys, I think Ragnarok might have forgotten too. 2 Immortals in a Prism it's actually the strongest army against Zerg. It's really all you need. The rest of it is just there to die first, so the Immortals have a little less cleanup to do. Hydra's coming out though, and well, Warp Prisms have a weakness, and that weakness is Hydra's. Great little hold position there to try to block the cannon, but with no shield battery, I feel like these Lings could clean that up. Instead, they're going to try to run home. They're going to run into this army a little bit though. Lings looking around, looking for other things to grab. They see that base is on its way back up. But also what they're doing here is delaying any push. If Creator was going to go for a counter push, it's a little late now. There's a bunch of stuff out for Ragnarok. He bought a lot of time with that Ling movement. And still has these Lings on this side kind of threatening Creator if Creator decides to move out. Creator's army is also kind of disjointed. Feels like there's some stuff just around here. Like, what are these units doing? Oh my god, I hate that. Luckily, Ragnarok didn't have any Lings near enough by to go pick those off. Some Lings and Roaches going to dive in here and try to take a little trade. They'll grab an Archon at least. That seems to be about it. Oh, a Ravager coming to the wrong side of town. But now Ragnarok's moving out with the rest. Ling Bane Hydra here joining up with the Roach Ling. Oh my god, there's a mothership on the way. Creator's like, I don't think you're going to bring detection. I don't think you're going to do it. Oh, this is actually so cool. I love that. The Warp Prism has been spotted. Ooh, these Hydras, they want to try to jump on it. Mama is out. She's out. She's coming across. She can come defend this base. Ragnarok's trying to dive in. Ooh, Disruptor Novas. First one doesn't get a good hit. Second one gets a couple of Hydras. But wait, where did all the units go? Ragnarok. Did you bring detection? Oh my god, he did bring detection. There's an Overseer sitting on top of that Nexus. It pulls back. Another Disruptor Nova. That one gets a good shot on the Roaches. Oh, the F2, though, pulls that Warp Prism back. Creator losing that for free. But Ragnarok, he's got to back up. He traded with some of that army. He killed a few probes. But Creator holds on. And you know what? This base is done. Creator's got a good economy to fall back on now. Bunch of Hydras getting caught in that stasis trap. The Ling's trying to get on top of this, but they can't quite do it yet. And Ragnarok is forced to tech into some later game units, including Vipers. I saw a Greater Spire finishing up. There's a Lurker Den, upgrading these Lurker upgrades. Creator, in the meantime, is getting into carriers. There's already one out, with 3 more on the way. Triple carrier production here for Creator as he hits 5 bases, 84 probes. My friends, we're going to the late game. Gresvan, it never fails to disappoint. I feel like this game gives us more late games than any other map I see. Oh, fantastic stasis trap there. Ragnarok trying to find some value with these units, but so far Creator is not letting. Oh, as I say that, the Banelings, they get 5 probes, but that's a lot of damaged probes. That didn't quite die. A lot of Lings going down there. Oh my god. 15 Lurkers ready to dive in here. Whoa, they don't have detection though. And that's some carriers. Where is the anti-carrier? There's only 8 Hydras out on the map. That is not enough to fight the 4 carriers, 5 carriers even that are here. Hydra count definitely needs to increase a little bit. Oh, nice dodge there from Ragnarok. Creator a little out of position. He's trying to come back into position here. Feedback's one of the Vipers, but the other 2, they get the yoinks. There's not enough DPS. Oh my god, both of those carriers live. The Storm's on top of his army as well. He's dealing a little bit of damage. His base is still in a lot of trouble though. A few drones did go down on the other side of the map, but I think whatever that was got cleaned up. And the yoinks coming in here, but again, the Hydra count isn't enough to win this fight. Creator just walks forward. Parasitic Bomb, I think, is a little bit more valuable, but still just going to damage these units as they kill Lurker after Lurker. Good target fire here from Creator as well. Grabbing some of those retreating Lurkers. Is Creator's air army just a little too strong now? 3 more on the way. I'd love to see Creator start up +2 attack. As Ragnarok's starting to get into Corruptors. I feel like those upgrades are going to be very important. I don't know how Ragnarok's late game against Protoss is. You know, this isn't dark here. This is Ragnarok. I do kind of expect him to win with Lair Tech somehow. But yeah, we're in late game. Corruptor, Lurker, Viper, I guess is kind of the composition here. That's pretty much all he's got as far as fighting units go. So who needs anything else, right? The problem is Lurkers are not very mobile. I think you do kind of need a hit squad of, I mean, something a little bit cheaper. Lings, I think, is a good call here, especially if you get that Adrenal. Such a powerful upgrade. No, Ragnarok doesn't have that, though. Could be a bit of a problem. Lurkers also don't do damage when they're not burrowed. We see a recall here on a couple of carriers, but one of them goes down anyways. That one going down as well. Whoa, some storms on these Corruptors, but they're just dodging around. There's no Archons underneath. The Hydra's showing up as well to help out. The Mothership goes down. Carriers getting targeted down here by Ragnarok, and Creator's army supply is plummeting. And just like that, Ragnarok takes a great fight. He's got more Lurkers, and he's got Hydras on the ground here, so the reinforcements of Creator can't do that well. The Greater Spire is done too, so the switch to ground units seems like such a good idea from Creator, but I feel like Ragnarok should just morph 3 or 4 Broodlords here, and Creator just wouldn't be able to do anything against it. Right now, Ragnarok's just building Lings, building Hydras, moving these lurkers forward bit by bit. If a counterattack from Creator, he's like, hey, you know what? Lurkers are not good at. He's going other places. Some Lings and a Hydra are going to find this. There are a few Spine Crawlers here as well, just to help out, maybe buy time for these units to come home. But Ragnarok isn't sending them home. He's just sending it right now. Straight across the map. Creator's bases are in a lot of trouble here. Counterattack looks like it's going to be able to kill a base. Ragnarok not defending this base at all. But this base doesn't feel nearly as important as the ones that Ragnarok killed on the other side of the map. He was kind of working through this one with the Lurker, but it might be a little bit. And as the counterattack gets cleaned up, Ragnarok is nearing 200 supply. Creator is closer to 100. And the 2 Immortals that are coming out, I don't think they're going to be enough against this many Hydras. GG gets called. Ragnarok takes the 2-1 victory over Creator. What a hell of a game.